Huge news in the NFL. Cleveland Browns QB Deshaun Watson out for the rest of the season after the team announced he will undergo season-ending shoulder surgery earlier this morning. That injury, of course, is affecting the line for this Sunday's matchup with Pittsburgh. Cleveland opened as a 4-point favorite, but that line is now Browns -1 with rookie Dorian Thompson-Robinson to be the starting quarterback. Now, the Browns are currently 6-3, and that puts them in the second wild card spot in the AFC, right behind the 6-3 Steelers, who own the head-to-head tiebreaker. Cleveland's odds to make the playoffs have moved from -290 before the Watson news to now -175 today. So, Joe, we were talking yesterday on this show, 24 hours ago, about the compelling AFC wild card picture, all kinds of teams bunched in there. Now we get this news today. With Watson done for the season, are the Browns now a make or a miss for you?
The life of a Browns fan. Yesterday, you were a contender in the AFC. Today, it's all over. Once again, like it has been the last 2 decades. How could you possibly lay the -175 here? How could you possibly lay the -175? They're 6-3. Looks nice, but -175 implies around 63% in the AFC. Let's start with this. Dorian Thompson-Robinson made a start earlier this year against Baltimore Ravens.
Didn't go well.
It didn't go well. Very well said on your behalf. On top of that, everyone's going to talk about the Cleveland defense and how great they've been this season. They have been, but do you realize they ranked 28th in the NFL in points allowed on the road? They're giving up like 29 points per game on the road. They're not an elite unit like the Ravens were back under Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. It's not the Legion of Boom. You can score on them. Okay. So all that considered, between DTR and the defense not being as great as we think it is, I can't play the yes at that price. No way.
I was going to answer your question with how can you bet the -175? Look at the defense, but that's a compelling point about them on the road there. So
a little troublesome.
Let's bring Anita Marks into this conversation because I'm curious her thoughts. Make or miss the playoffs for the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, how can you not say miss here? I mean, I'm perplexed. Why are they going with a rookie in DTR over PJ Walker? Seriously, I don't understand. And as Joe pointed out, 44 times he has dropped back this season. And he's only averaging 3.4 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. PFF gave him a 33.5 passer grade. Now he's got to go up against the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. Yeah, good luck with that. At the end of the day, this Cleveland Browns team has to go 4-4, in my opinion, in order for them to possibly make it to the playoffs. I don't know about you guys. I only have them winning 2 more games. That's possibly if the Rams and the Bears. So, and by the way, the Bears get Justin Fields back. So could that possibly happen? So for me, absolutely not. No, I do not see the Browns making it to the playoffs. And again, I am just shocked.
Right.
I'll use the word shocked that they're rolling with a rookie when they've got the #1 defense in the NFL and a great rushing attack. What are you doing? Pick up the phone. Call Tom Brady. What are you doing?
Flummoxed, Anita Marks finds herself.
Too bad former Brown Josh Dobbs is not available any longer. The Vikings really like having him there. All right, so let's peel back the onions of the layers of this onion in the AFC wildcard picture. You guys don't seem to have very much confidence in the Browns.
No.
You mentioned the Steelers yesterday as a team that's currently in the playoff picture you don't think is going to make it. What dominoes are now falling because of this news and how it affects your handicap?
I'm going to stop talking about the Steelers first and foremost. I have never seen a horseshoe so properly placed, you know where, for a team to catch every break imaginable. Every break imaginable. Going into this game, they lose Watson. Beginning of the season, you have Baltimore giving games away to them. You have I cannot believe what's happening in Pittsburgh. So I don't know if I'm going to rule them out. I would say if someone's going to slide in with the Browns sliding out, dare I go back to Cincinnati.
Oh,
pricing isn't necessarily great, but if they end up losing to Baltimore Thursday night, they're 5-5. Historically, teams that are 5-5, I believe, have around a 30% chance of getting to the playoffs, but that also includes a lot of 16-game seasons. We have a 17-game season. At the very least with Cincinnati, you know what I get? I get Joe Burrow. And how many teams sitting on the bubble have an MVP caliber quarterback? Not many. So that would be the team I'd look to slide in. Would love to make a case for the Chargers, not going back there, not falling for that banana in the tailpipe.
Let me go back to Anita for this conversation. Anita, is there a team that Joe kind of maybe is starting to give some credence now because the horseshoe is lodged up their butt that you need to convince him is going to be a playoff team? Mike Tomlin's squad.
Don't do it.
Listen, yesterday on the show, when Joe was dissing the Pittsburgh Steelers, I was itching at the bit to get back in. I was so upset I wasn't a part of that conversation. Man, I've been on this Pittsburgh Steelers team. Listen, they're winning ugly, but at the end of the day, they're winning. They're 6-3. They're 2-0 in the division. Yes, teams are putting up more yards than them, but their defense is so opportunistic, and they are just getting the turnovers. On top of that, they sit middle of the pack in regard to strength of schedule still remaining. They're taking on the Cardinals, the Patriots, also the Colts. Those are winnable games. Meanwhile, Cincinnati, the most difficult schedule still remaining in the NFL, and the Ravens, 5th most difficult. So watch out for these Steelers. Again, it's ugly. I'm not saying it's pretty. It's really freaking ugly, but they're winning, guys. Watch out, Joe. They make it to the playoffs.
I think there's an opportunity. Here. If Pittsburgh wants to continue to perform at this level and they end up getting themselves in the playoffs, it's going to be the same thing we saw with the Minnesota Vikings. They get in, you immediately bet against them in the postseason, and you cash out on what's happening here. The negative point differential, outgained in every single game, the ridiculous turnover rate they're producing. They have done an excellent job with their discipline this year. I don't mean any disrespect, but if they get to the playoffs, they're going to be a bet against immediately for me.
All right, the Colts. The Bills, who just lost, the
Colts are feisty.
Chargers, the Jets even. The door open now. The door is open.
That's a bridge too far.